Welcome in, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to this week's recap of the Lansing Watchdog, your trusted source for small business news. As always, my name's Jacob Manning.
And I'm Kelly Saunders.
And Kelly, the big story from last week was, of course, the primary election. We went in depth on the results in last week's Watchdog, and we've also put an article on our website that discusses the latest news if you happen to miss it. But we've had a couple of developments since then. What can you tell us about new leadership in the Senate Republican caucus?
So, following Tuesday's primaries, Senator Roger Houck announced that the Senate Republicans have united behind him to lead the caucus next term. With current Senate Minority Leader Eric Nesbitt leaving office later this year, the two co chairs of the Senate Republican Campaign Committee, Senator Houck and Senator Michael Weber, were both running internally this year to be the next caucus leader. After Tuesday's races, Senator Weber put his support behind Houck to present a united force against Senate Democrats. The Senate Republican Campaign Committee currently has the most cash on hand out of all four caucuses with $7.87 million, compared to the House Republicans' $7.86 million. House Democrats have $5.36 million and Senate Democrats have $4.7 million. In response, the next leader of the Senate Democratic Caucus, Senator Darren Camilleri, congratulated Senator Houck by saying, quote, he will be a great minority leader. Senator Houck served 3 terms in the Michigan House from 2017 to 2022 and is very likely to win his second term in the state Senate this fall. He represents the Senate's 34th district, which covers much of the central northern Michigan region, covering Clare, Isabella, and Gratiot counties, among others. With Senator Houck locked into his leadership role, we have slated leaders for all four caucuses. Previously mentioned, Senator Camilleri for Senate Democrats, Speaker Hall for House Republicans, and Minority Leader Puri for the Democrats. Moving forward, Jacob, what can you tell us about some of the races we didn't get to last week?
Yes, there were so many races last week that we didn't have a chance to cover them all. So we wanted to talk about a handful of these open primary races that were decided last week in the state Senate. And we're going to start out by talking about the 28th Senate District, which covers Ingham, Shiawassee, and Clinton counties. Ingham County Commissioner Mark Polsdorfer was the candidate endorsed by outgoing State Senator Sam Singh. He was also endorsed by the Small Biz PAC, but he fell short narrowly to a relative political unknown, Rashida Harrison. This district leans heavily Democrat, and Harrison is likely to win later this year. In the West Michigan-based 29th District, East Grand Rapids City Commissioner Abby Groff Blazik defeated current State Representative Phil Skaggs and Democratic Socialist candidate Ivan Diaz. Skaggs was backed by various local unions and Grand Rapids Mayor David LeGrand, but the support was not enough to keep him from being upset by Groff Blazik, who was strongly favored to win that seat in November. In the East Detroit's 3rd District, a Democratic primary of 11 candidates formed to replace outgoing State Senator Stephanie Chang, including former State Senator Adam Ollier, Corey Hall, who was endorsed by Governor Whitmer, Ebony Taylor, who was endorsed by Senator Chang. But in the end, it was John Conyers III, who is the son of late U.S. Representative John Conyers Jr., who emerged victorious and is now very likely to represent the 3rd District in Lansing. In rounding out this conversation, we are going to stay in Detroit to talk about the Democratic primary in the 1st House District to replace Senator Erica Geiss. Justin Onwenu defeated former Majority Floor Leader Abraham Ayash in a contentious primary. Ayash had taken a term off in the legislature to preserve 2 full terms of eligibility in the state Senate and seemed to be the favorite going into the race, but was defeated by Onwenu, who has close ties to the city of Detroit and worked extensively in the city's economic development space. Now, kicking it back to you, Kelly, we've talked in this program about the Michiganders for Money Out of Politics, or MOPS initiative. There was a new development last week. What can you tell us about that?
The ballot question committee Protect My Free Speech officially asked the Michigan Supreme Court to reverse approval of the Michiganders for Money Out of Politics, or MOP initiative, arguing that it lacks the required signatures. The Board of State Canvassers approved the group signatures on July 24th, saying that the group had 645 valid signatures and 1,000 sample. But the filed suit alleging the board's math doesn't add up, saying that the group needed 661 signatures, not 636. The complaint also alleges that the initiative does not meet the board's standard 90% confidence level for gathering valid signatures. As a reminder, MOP cleared the originally stated threshold by just 9 votes. Protect My Free Speech spokesperson John Selleck was quoted as saying the petition failed to meet the threshold required under its own methodology, and he described the Bureau's methodology as sloppy math and a failure to follow its own standards. For their part, a MOP spokesperson described the challenge as baseless. As a reminder, this is the initiative that would prohibit regulated electric and gas utilities from engaging in the political process. The measure would also apply to any business or organization with government contracts exceeding $250,000. Jacob, can you close us out for the week?
Yeah, before we go, we wanted to remind everyone of some upcoming events that we have going on at SBAM. This week, we will be in the Macomb region for an owner-to-owner event on Tuesday, August 11th, and it is going to be at a Beatles-inspired beer garden called Octopus's Beer Garden. And then, of course, coming up on September 10th, we will be at College Fields in Okemos for the SBAM Foundation annual golf outing. To register, please visit sbam.org/events. We hope to see you there. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. I hope you have a great week, and we will talk to you next week with more updates.